Hello and welcome back to Unprofessional Therapy, where it's just two old guys talking, and we've got no degrees, just decades of experience, and we're just talking about the kind of problems that we have, and maybe they resonate with you, and maybe you can help, and we can help. And anyway, I don't know what I'm saying anymore because I'm crazy. So today we're going to talk about a couple things, but I have a homework assignment ish, except it's not homework. It's going to be done during this video. So, Michael. You're Michael?
Yeah, I'm Michael.
I'm
And you're
Brad.
Brad. Yeah.
So you have told me multiple times on the videos that you envy me for being able to talk on camera and be natural.
Maybe not today. Sorry, that ad lib.
So your homework for this video is to relax and don't care what you look like or what you're saying. Just don't care. Don't care. All right? Can you do that?
I know, probably not. It will be. I'll try. I will try.
See, because this is exactly the right thing. Because I'm going to criticize you because you suck on video. Okay, because that's your thing. And then when and I'm only saying that to egg you on. You're actually you present well, but I want you to relax and be yourself, which is what I'm going to talk about.
Okay. All right.
First, let's talk about what you want to talk about criticism.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about criticism. I'm gonna a small background, very small. This came up as a content creator. Somebody made a negative, somebody criticized something I did.
On the internet? I'm so shocked.
Where does that come from? What gives them the right?
Trolls.
So I come to you. So I am coming to you for help, which I know is the absolute wrong thing to do because you are much like me, and I cut you deep. You come at me, I'm gonna put you down so that you can't get back up. Yeah. So I know that you don't necessarily handle criticism. Well, what can we do to improve that? I bring up the content creation, but I think about this just in general for anything, for any kind of criticisms that you receive in life or just in general, anything that you feel that people are critical of or have made critical statements about. How do you deal with that?
Horribly.
What can we do to improve that?
Now, here's the thing, though. If there's like a comment in the somebody in the comment of one of these videos, it's like you blah 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 blah. I will either ignore them or I will remove the comment and block them from the channel.
Okay.
So, internet negativity doesn't affect me as much as you, a friend or a family member or somebody I know personally saying you're short, fat, and ugly.
Okay.
It's like, well, I'm not short, but I'm not tall. I'm medium. I'm average. But it stings. And then that's an easy one to deal with. But there are ones that sting that sometimes I just want to go and cry.
Okay.
Sometimes I will lash back, like you just said. I will cut you. It's like, oh, I may be short, fat, and ugly, but at least I can diet. Oh wait,
Nice,
stupid shit like that. I don't have very good comebacks most of the time. So what did this person say to you?
It doesn't matter.
Not to you.
Okay. You know what? I couldn't even tell you now because I've tried to just put it out of my head. Try to just move on from it.
Internet comments are just noise.
Like you said, trolls. It's so easy to express a hurtful opinion when there's no repercussions for it. I think a lot of and so on. But being, I want to say being sensitive.
Me?
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing too. And I'm answering my own question even as I'm trying to phrase it. I need to not take things so personally, because there really isn't. While I've invested a lot of myself in videos like this, in other channels, in other shows that I've been on, and in my personal life, I've invested myself, and I do always try to do my best. I do try to accomplish something. I'm trying to add value to everything that I do. So it hurts deeply when somebody ignores that or
Which
makes
is a silent criticism.
Yeah.
In your mind, it's actually not, but
Yeah. So anyhow, so when somebody does voice something or whatever, then it's like I immediately get defensive, and I tend to lash back out. We talked about the books that we enjoy and so on. It's one of the reasons why I enjoyed Ender's Game. Ender, as a child, found himself in a position where if somebody tried to hurt him or whatever, it was his job. It was his defense mechanism was to put them down so hard that they couldn't get back up to do it to him again. That resonated with me very much. Now we're going into some of the stuff maybe about not having a dad and stuff like that. Other things that we've talked about in other shows. You'll have to go back and see those.
Yeah.
But
videos.
All of this together. So, like I said, you asked me what they said. This started with I don't even remember now.
Paraphrase. Okay. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. What's the one criticism that you've heard from someone close or not close, or that's actually affected you the most?
Affected me the most.
I can't think of mine.
I can't think of them either, because I do generally move past them and try not to dwell on it. I maybe that's the lesson I should take away there, is that just move on and keep going forward. Okay,
so let me ask you this: when let's say I was actually seriously criticizing you, what is your immediate reaction? Coming from me.
F him, and then whatever else follows that up or whatever. However, so that's the immediate response.
That's your knee jerk. Yeah, I get
it. The secondary response, though, is he right? And that's what I've been trying to do more and more is that thing true? Is that statement, is that criticism correct?
Or why does he see it that way? I think that would be the best. And I'm just figuring this out as we're going too. I'm not. Okay. This is not some thing that I've known forever. It's
this is well rehearsed. These are not.
So well rehearsed.
Yeah,
because you're so good at following a script.
Yeah.
God, Jesus, if I followed a script, I would look like a robot. That's why I don't. That's why I don't prepare.
Yeah.
But if when someone criticizes you, I mean, I have the knee jerk of my head is like I want to explode like within, I'd say, a nanosecond. I'm ready to just kill. But if I can keep that from happening or chill it out, if I go, what makes him think that? What am I doing that makes that person say that to me? I mean, yeah, sure, they can say I'm short, fat, and ugly, but that's a pretty obvious why they think that. They're tall and they think they're attractive and they think they're skinny. They're comparing me to them. It's like, whatever. But what makes them, like, if they say, give me an actual criticism. I mean, give me a criticism that I'm not going to blow up at you. Use your real words, or not, without profanity. Uh-oh.
Sorry, taking a note there. You said something there that struck home that I'm going to have to think out for a minute.
Okay. So give me some sort of criticism.
You can be difficult to work with.
You are not the first person to say that. I can be. I know why you say that.
Okay.
Because I am a control freak month ago video. And I like to have things my way. And I think that my way is the right way and your way is wrong. And that's why you think that. So how do I take that criticism? I take it with a grain of salt. I try to better myself to make it so I'm not so difficult to work with. But sometimes you do have to set down the rules. You know, like if I'm in a position of authority, which I'm not with us, but if I have a position of authority with somebody and like in a job or whatever, or I'm the person who's responsible for the outcome of whatever project we're working on, I'm going to be a little bit more of a stickler. You know, because that's what it is. And you're seeing, and you say that because you're seeing me projecting that in our projects, and I have to chill. I have to not do that.
Well,
that's how I saw it.
Okay, fair enough. And so I actually think there's a pretty good ebb and flow between us, but mostly because I know you and I've known you for a very long time. So I'm imagining, as you're saying this, I'm imagining what it must be like to work with you for the first time and never had an experience with you. And I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing, and I'm not softening my criticism, but I'm wondering what that would be like to how do you would approach a situation like that then?
Well, when someone first starts working with me, they see the good side of me. Now, there was a job I had for 1 month, and we talked about this, where I was put in a position of authority, and I asserted my authority, and my boss, the owner of the company, did not have my back. So I walked away. Like, okay. He has no, and I'm like, that's not happening. But he said he says, I told him how I was going to speak and what I was going to say to this person who was supposed to be hopefully listening to me. He wasn't like under me. He was, we're at the same level.
Right.
But I was supposed to help them move things forward. And I was trying to help them move things forward. And he went right back to the owner and the owner had his back. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't work.
Oh, no.
The first 2 weeks, it was great because I was really nice because I was just trying to figure out what the heck was going on. When someone comes into me and like, let's say the job I have now, if someone came in, I would be really nice to them because I would understand that they're new, and after a couple months, years, depending, if they're still making the same kinds of mistakes and they're causing problems within the code, I would have to say something.
Yeah.
But no, I try, and now there are days because I have a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde personality. There are just days that people do not want to talk to me, and I don't blame them. There's reasons why I should never be in an office. It's a good thing remote work is possible because I would be dropping that F-bomb, and not even at people, not directed at people, but coding can drive me bonkers, and I will just start. So yeah, I can understand where people come up with that, and mostly it's because I like working by myself.
Okay. So the thing that I had to stop and write down was you brought up comparison, and my new favorite quote this year has been "Comparison is the thief of happiness," and I kind of think that applies in this situation too, because you gave the example of short, fat, ugly, whatever. The other person is comparing them to themselves, tall, think of themselves attractive or whatever. I think framing going forward, I'm going to frame the questions or responses to criticism by asking what they're comparing. Are they comparing
compared to what? Yeah, just say compared to what?
Yeah, are they comparing it to something that they do? If they're criticizing my project, my whatever it is it compared to what they're doing, or is it compared to what a professional studio is doing, or is it compared to what? And I think where it falls down, much criticism on the internet anyway, falls down is because a lot of people that share their opinions don't have any real basis for it. They're either parroting something else they've heard from somebody else, or they're just jumping on the hot topic of the week and parroting what the news has told them or what they've read in an article or something of that nature.
Which is, and I think you're touching on another topic, that people who actually do have experience and their comments could actually be helpful. Those are the people that probably don't say anything at all because they're like, no one's going to listen to me. At least that's how I am. I mean, because I know everything.
We talked about that.
And I'm omnipotent, and I don't comment on people because I'm like, they're below me. No, I don't.
They'll figure it out, or they won't, and it doesn't matter in the long run.
Well, and more importantly, is like it doesn't really. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's become more of my mantra lately. Is I don't care. It's like, you do you, man. You do you. Have fun.
Yeah. Tell me about that. Tell me about you doing you.
Well, and you're right. This kind of brings us right to it, because one of the things that when you take criticism and whatever life in general, or even as I told you, relax and what did I say? Be yourself.
Be yourself. Be yourself.
Don't worry about what people think about you. Don't worry about this kind of stuff. Now, obviously, don't go on a profanity tirade, because that's just
that's just what I was gonna do.
I know I was effing gonna do it too. It actually, I mean, you and I wouldn't do it, but if that's who you are, fine. People are going to see that, right. And they're going to know exactly who you are. You will attract those kinds of people.
Good point. Yes.
And being yourself, then you get to attract people who are like you, which is why we get along, because we're similar. We have a very close background. We've known each other for like 400 or 500 years, and we have a lot of the same thought patterns that we have and whatever. But if you are yourself, life is so much easier. Don't be a dick unless you're that way normally.
Don't put on airs and don't try to be something you're not, because it takes too much work, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, oh man, and I've met so many pathological liars. I mean, there was a guy, and I can see where people think I'm one of these people, not a pathological liar. Well, actually, a friend's wife, who we both went to high school with, both of them, she thinks I'm a pathological liar. But people think I'm trying to one-up everybody. And I've had to roll it back, because I'm not trying to one-up. I'm trying to say, I've experienced what you're going through, and I understand. That's not how it's perceived.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to give you a perfect example. You talk about being disabled, and you are disabled, and you can't lift more than 5 pounds. You can't stand up or sit down. My back is killing me, so I know exactly how you feel. No, my back hurts, yes, but I don't know exactly how you feel, but I can at least empathize with you, because I know I can personally think, because I've actually had much worse back pains. I can personally think, if this was like this all the time, that would be terrible.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going. I mean, yeah, everybody, well, not everybody, but people our age have back problems. I've had back problems since I was 20 years old, because I'm in poor shape.
Yeah. That's how you know you got to that age.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything starts creaking and croaking. So with being yourself, when did you realize, and when did you start actually being yourself around people? I know it's hard to be yourself on video, but I do it better now.
I can tell you exactly when I started being myself. When I got to California.
As I say, was 18 years old?
I was always my authentic self with my friends. Mm-hmm. Okay. But until I got out of the small town that I lived in to a brand new place, I was able to be myself and do whatever to show whatever side I wanted of myself.
Right. And how did that make you feel?
Better,
Just
much better.
call me Freud.
Yeah.
Unprofessional Freud.
Yeah. Because there were so many expectations. Well, we did the small town episode. We did that.
Right.
But yeah. So that's really but to be fair, growing up, a lot of this too, I feel like I was born with a certain amount of it because I was always myself with myself, though. I think that's important too. I think that you need to be, because I started to say I was at the age of 4 or 5 when I started talking, started expressing myself. I started expressing myself, and I didn't care too much what other people thought, or I thought more of myself, and so express myself freely. I had that. I was going to say I had that beaten out of me, not literally, but literally. I mean, by the system, by systems, by the school system, by the religious systems, whatever. But I never was untrue to myself.
Good. And I guess that really, before you get to be yourself, you have to know who you are.
For sure.
And if you don't know who you are, how do you? Because I've never really had that problem. I've always known, like you, mostly who I am. I didn't always know what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I still don't. But
same here. I'm waiting for that epiphany to come.
So what can we recommend to somebody who doesn't know who they are? They're lost or whatever. I mean, number one, seek real help, possibly. But number two,
but number two, just sit with yourself and think about that for a little bit. Take time to self-examine and self-explore. We've preached this, as it were, I think the whole time. I think all of the videos have had that common theme of doing self-reflection and taking the time to think more about things, including yourself. Don't neglect that.
What would you focus on? Like, how do I? Because I can't conceive how you wouldn't know who you are. But if you don't, what would you? I mean, would you focus on who? What do I want to be in the world? Do I want to be good in the world? Do I want how do I want to live in this world?
No. What I would focus on personally, is how do I feel, and why do I feel that way? I think those two things, if you start thinking in that, along those lines, in that vein, I think you will discover a lot.
Now so can I go further with that? What about what am I doing when I feel happy thoughts, positive thoughts, the dopamine rush? What kinds of activities or things am I doing at that time? And then examine what those are. And then that might guide you.
That's one thing, but I tend to be more negative. I look at the negative stuff to get it out.
Okay.
And then not think about it anymore. It's something else that
like, what do I hate? What do I hate doing? When someone does this, I don't like it. So
why do I feel that way?
Why do I feel that way?
Why does
that bother me? And then, because I mean, I'm trying to think of things people do that I don't like. And I don't really, they annoy me, and it just means I walk away from it. It means I don't do that. And I guess that's what that would mean. If you're like annoyed by something a person does, well, then you don't do that, but let them be them.
Right. I think that's part of it. But I also feel like, why don't you like doing it? So I've come also to this realization through, I think I talked about the fact that I've gone to a grief share group, and while nobody there, strictly unprofessional there, but reading things in books has made me stop and look at how I was feeling about things. And just reading one sentence sometimes is enough to unlock emotions, feelings, other things from my past The best example, I mean, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I guess I will go ahead, because they're never going to see it. I lost a friend. I lost a friend recently when we were dealing with the passing of my wife's father. I lost a friend because I didn't go out and do things with them during that time. And so the person felt that that I wasn't giving them time, so I was still going out, I was still seeing other people, I was going to game stores. I think we talked about that before. But I was going out, and in my mind, I had single serving friends. I could go out for a night and do this thing. I could play this game and then go back home and not think about it again for the rest of the week. I didn't have to invest anything. Anyhow, I came across this one sentence, and it made me understand that I was just completely spent. We were dealing with a long illness before this and stuff before he passed. So I was physically spent and had nothing emotional left to give anybody else. Just reading that one line made me realize and allowed me to write this person a letter and express that to them. And now that's out, it's done, and I don't have to think about it. It doesn't have to take any more real estate in my head or my emotions anymore. It can be gone. So I think
I want to be clear, because even when you told me this offline, it took me a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't lose a friend because he passed away. Your friend just walked away because you were dealing with something else. And he didn't know, whatever.
Well, and it sounds bad, and this kind of ties into other things we've talked about too, because I understand he suffered loss, actually family member loss and stuff like this too. There was a lot that he had going on, and so it sounds petty just to say he cut me off because I didn't hang out with him. It sounds petty.
It's not. It just sounds like you guys had problems because you're both in a bad place at the time.
Right. And it turns out, and it just wasn't compatible. Like, I wasn't able to be there for him. I had nothing else to give. I didn't know he was having the issues that he was having because I wasn't there, because I didn't talk to him. And when I was invited out, like, there was so much more that went with that commitment. I couldn't go there because I did want to be that responsible person, that responsible friend.
Right.
And I wouldn't have been able to just go and just, he wasn't he was not a single serving friend. He was not somebody that I could just walk up to, hey, let's play a game and
then go be done for the day.
More. Yeah, it would have taken more. So anyhow, reading that one sentence, reading that one thing unlocked all that. So bringing it back around, you had asked me about, like, what would I look at? So I'd look at the negative emotions, get those out. Why am I feeling this way? What's making me feel this way? Get it out, get it done, and then move on. And I think I'm better off for it after that. So examine yourself, examine everything that you do. It isn't going to be a habit to start with. For me, it's a habit because that's how I've been my whole life. But for somebody that is dealing with problems, take them out, examine them. You can actually get more by examining them instead of running away from them.
And I think that, to button this up a little bit, the self-examination is a big deal, and you need to look at the goods and the bads of what you like and what you don't like, and it's all personal.
Yeah,
you can write it down. You can, and it takes years. It's not like you're going to be like overnight, I'm better, or I know who I am. Good luck with that.
Well, I think
nothing worthwhile is easy.
Yeah, and I think too that despite I don't write much, but writing things down, despite not liking to write things down, I have found that writing things down has made a difference because, again, you get them out of your head. You don't have to think about it and dwell on them. You put them down somewhere, and you can go back later and see how far you've come. I don't know if we've talked about this before too. I think we've mentioned it before about don't measure your goals by where you want to get to. Measure them by how far you've come towards that goal also. I think it's important to look at that too.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah.
This has been a good one. I like this one. Now,
who knew?
I got more homework.
Oh, all right.
This time it's for both you and, well, not really you. I want the people who actually watch this video to tell us, how do you think Michael did with his homework during the video? Do you feel that he loosened up, he relaxed? Or do you feel that it was much of the same? And I'm going to ask Michael, how do you think you did?
You want me to answer that now, or you want me to come back and answer that?
Right now.
I'm going to answer right now. Despite my position, well, this isn't necessarily, this is self-comfort. This actually isn't closing off from that. It's self-comfort, but anyhow. I don't feel it was any different, but I was thinking about it when I was. So I tried. I don't know if anybody, so I do actually need people to tell me if you saw anything different. I'm taking my glasses on an awful lot more. But I did think about it as we were going. I would go along a little ways and I would think, oh man, Brad said relax. Okay, so were there points when I actually did? I don't know. But I did make the effort the whole time that we did this. So I don't know. I'm curious.
Well, right now you're looking pretty relaxed and chill.
Yeah. Now I'm self-conscious because you pointed it out. So
well, you look very tense. You look like you're going to explode any minute now.
Well, no. See, so you're counting on me doing the opposite of whatever you said. Now I'm going to chill out and do nothing. Yeah. Anyhow, we have been Unprofessional Therapy. No degrees, just decades. Anyhow, yeah, I think this was I think we did a couple of great shows here in a row. So I like that. So we'll have to screw up a couple of them now.
There you go. Well, we'll find something to screw up on.
All right.
I've been Brad.
I have been Michael.
Share, like, and subscribe.
Absolutely.